Hi, thanks for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. Today we're going to be discussing Oasis by Kayta de Becerra. Little backstory on Oasis. A group of teenagers go on an archaeological dig only to find themselves lost in a desert when they stumble upon an oasis. But there's something deadly and dark in the oasis. Who will save them? Can someone save them? That is the question. So, Oasis is... I know. I read this book to my son as well, who is joining me today. Oasis is a weird book. Didn't you think it was weird, little man? It's, I had mixed feelings when it came to this book. I didn't thoroughly like it or enjoy it, but I didn't hate it either. It's sort of meh, but the reason it's meh is because of the characterization. Even from the beginning, the reader is supposed to believe that Alif and her friends are like the best of pals. I know, kid. I know. But it was not believable, was it? They don't seem like the best of friends. Alif is pretty aloof when it comes to her friends. Everyone else is pretty much doing their own thing. Yeah, they're about to go off to college, but they seem very antagonistic with one another. So I did not find their best friend backstory believable at all. It was just it seemed like they were a group of people who shouldn't be friends. Like they were just thrown together because of circumstances, but they're all very toxic with one another. I feel like that was the feeling I got, especially when one of them became very stalkery, and I mean, it just was not good. It wasn't great. And those character dynamics, I didn't find them believable. I didn't find the characters very likable either. They all seemed very selfish, very self-centered, and I think the story would have made a bigger impact if the author, if Becerra, had focused more on the character development with the novel, because we're supposed to believe the Oasis is turning them against one another, but when they don't seem like the best of friends to begin with, it's just kind of like, it's not believable. Those dynamics. It's not believable. It's not fresh. It's very forced. Very unlikable. They're very unlikable characters. Alif, she's... God, I wanna say self-centered, but at the same time that doesn't seem correct, because later on in the book she's not very self-centered. She wants to give up everything just to save her friends and herself. But she's very aloof. Aloof is the right word choice. She's very aloof when it comes to her dynamic with her friends. And everyone else, God, they just seem very callous. They seem very rude. They seem very, oh, I don't really care about your opinion. Kind of, in that sense, in that way. That's how they seem, that they don't care about each other's opinions. So, trying to believe that these group of kids are actually friends, not believable. It's just not at all. Which is a shame, because if Becerra had been able to sell that friendship to the reader, I think everything that happens in the Oasis probably would have been more impactful. Because the saving grace of this novel is the eeriness factor, the supernatural sci-fi element of the Oasis. There's something going on. They discover this temple. It's all very sinister. It's very sinister. It's very sorry, I had to drink my cup of coffee. It's very sinister, very eerie, and that's really what's good about the novel, the eerie factor. And that is what I liked about the novel, that Becerra was able to capture that eeriness, that supernaturalness, the sense of wrongness in the story. And that's what was good about it. That is what was good about it. Nothing else but that. There was also some pacing issues later on in the novel. It's just kind of, it drags where it shouldn't drag, and then the parts of it that should move a little bit quicker, they go too fast. I mean, the parts of it that should move slower go way too fast. It's like bump, 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 bump. That's how the ending of the story is. I mean, it's good. It definitely keeps the reader hooked to the pages, but other than that, I mean, Oasis just isn't worth the read just because of those character dynamics. They're very off-putting. They're very much, they don't make you care about them. You don't care about the characters. When something happens, you're more interested in, ooh, you can see the eeriness taking over the characters. That's what you're interested in, but you're not invested in the characters. They don't give you anything to be invested in them for. They're just not worth the time or the effort. And I really think Becerra should have focused more on the characterization in this novel. I think this novel... Oh, what's wrong, little man? Do you disagree with me? Nah. You're just teasing. But I think had Beth been able to sell those characterizations and focus more on making the characters more likable, the story would have been a much better read. You know, the eeriness would have had a stronger effect on the reader. That sense of wrongness would have been more impactful upon the reader, and that is what would have made it better. Sorry, I'm talking to my son. But Oasis just isn't worth the read if you're going to read something for characterization. It's worth the read for the eeriness of the novel. But other than that, I mean, this is honestly a novel you can skip, I think. And I hate to say that. I hate to say don't read a novel, but these characterizations, they're not great. I think everyone should give it a shot. Read the first 5 chapters. If by the first 5 chapters you are not captivated, I tend to read every book from beginning to end. I'm one of those people. I have to finish a book that I've started, even if it's driving me out of my mind. I force myself, but if you find yourself forcing yourself to finish a story, it's not worth the time. It's not worth the effort. If you want to see how the book ends, then just skip to the end. And if you're like, what? And you want to see how that ending unfolds, then read the story. But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend this story if you can't get past the... Otherwise, I wouldn't recommend the story if you cannot get past the first 5 chapters. If you can't get past the first 5 chapters, it's not worth your time and it's not worth your effort. So, give it a shot or don't. Eeriness is good. The atmosphere is good. Pacing needed some work, and the characterization is terrible. But that's how I feel. Let me know how you feel.